What's that D stand for?
Um.
Hello everybody, Car Dreamer here, your D-Class villain. And I'm coming to you today on behalf of D-Class and all things that will eventually be mine. Today, we are bringing you the video that is the whole point of this month, and that is our Mega Man X Legacy Collection review. The collection includes both Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2, which contain the games X 1 through 8, plus challenge mode. And as you can see, we are in the first one. And I'm really not going to get into, you're not going to see too much of the fourth one, but there's no need to, for the most part. We'll go back and forth maybe. We'll see. And I just want to say that right off the bat, I love this menu. I like the layout a lot better than with how they did the original Mega Man collection for Xbox and PlayStation recently, not too long ago, and it's just done so much better. They really upped the ante with this one. A lot of people complain that Mega Man Legacy Collections 1 and 2 were more than something to be desired. I myself included felt they could have done better. And this one they do a lot more. As you can see right on the screen as you select each one, they have what's called Rookie Hunter mode on and off. I'm assuming that's a difficulty setting. That's what it at least strikes me as. Now, I want to go through the pluses first. First, I love the menu, and how I like how the art changes with the title, which is taken from somewhat the covers of the boxes. Now, I will say, special note that the X3 on here is the Super Nintendo version of the game. There, I know it was eventually released on PlayStation and Sega Saturn, but this is the Super Nintendo version, which a lot of people say the music is better with anyway. I don't know. I never got to play anything after 2, so I'm actually super excited for this collection because I never had 3, and even though I have 4 on up, I just like, why? I don't want to jump. I could never get a hold of 3, so now I have a copy of 3, so I'm really super excited for that. X4, my understanding is there was the intro music is a little different on the Japanese version. Not so much the U.S., but like the Japanese version, they had a special intro music, and now they can't use it. I don't know if it's licensing or what, but that's just for the nitpicky people, nitty gritty. So you have all 4 games. You have the first 4 games in the first collection, and I really like that there's actually some good options here. Under options, you can change the language. Hunter medals, I believe these are all the achievements. So I like that there's actually a menu for all the achievements in game. There's 52 of them, and I like the artwork for them. Some of the secret ones are still grayed out, whatever you. So I think that's really cool. I think they did a good job there. You don't have to like hit the home button and go to big through list of what your achievements are. You have the screen. There are different options for your screens, and it's going to depend on the game you're playing because they're different emulation systems. You know, you have X1 through 3, which is Super Nintendo. Then you have 4 through 6, which was PlayStation 1, and 7 and 8 were PlayStation 2. So everything's going to be a little different. Screen sizes, you have Type 1, which keeps the right aspect ratio and it's just fit the screen basically. Type 2 keeps aspect ratio, doesn't quite fit at the screen. You have Type 3, which fits it both up and down, left and right. Fits the screen. It distorts the image. Why anybody would play it that way, I don't know. I never would, but it's there for those who would. There are 3 filter types, and I like this. What I really like is it shows you the effects each filter is going to have. So I have all filters off, so I'm seeing it pixel perfect. There's Type 2, which gives you kind of the CRT cart monitor look, which is fine for those who want to do it. No problem with that. I personally never saw the need to want to do it, but and then there's Type 1, which smooths out the graphics, which gives it almost a cel-shaded look, and it's very interesting, and I might give that a try just by looking at the image. It could be interesting to see it in almost a new artistic style almost. It'll be interesting for certain games to see that, especially the Super Nintendo one. So I'm keeping that one in mind. But for now, I keep it off to the pixel perfect, and I keep the screen size at Type 2, which keeps the aspect ratio, but it isn't stretched to fit the screen. So I thought that was good. I think they did a good job there. And obviously you can see the manuals. Tells you how to play, whatever. And of course there's credits. Now, and then here's the museum. Now the museum between the two I find to be very catch-22. I think there's some really good things, and I think there's some things that are a little disappointing. The downside to the collections is they don't fully treat them as two separate individual games. They each have their own 1000 gamer score for those who are into achievements, and they have their each separate trophy list for those into PlayStation. If you're on Switch, it doesn't really matter in that regard. But the downside is okay, so if you go into Gallery, you get to see artwork for each of the first four games, and then some for the first collection. That's fine. That's good. No qualms there. There's some nice artwork. Music player. So, and again, you go for the first four games. That's cool. You're focused on the four games that are on this collection. But then there are some things that are universal to both collections, which I was really disappointed with. I would have liked to see the whole thing focused. So you go into product gallery. Pretty sure it's the same products. I could be wrong. You go in the product list, and it seems to be focused on the first four. I'm not going to argue that. The Day of Sigma, as it tells you at the bottom. This is cool. Now, this is a cool bonus feature that this is included. Don't get me wrong. I do like this. Then it's an animated short feature exploring the beginnings of Sigma's rebellion. As it tells you, it came from Maverick Hunter X, which was released on the PlayStation Portable. That's all well and good. I'm 50-50. This is actually on both the Legacy Collection 1 and 2. So, I feel like if you bought both, you're getting a little cheated in the museum development. Because let's face it, who's going to buy Legacy Collection 2 and not 1? I can see you buying 1 and not 2. Kind of, to try out the first couple games. You don't like them, you're not going to go on to the others. But I don't see why you would start with 5, 6, 7, and 8. You know what I mean? So I'm 50-50 on that. I think it's cool that it's included. And I guess the upside is you don't have to switch games to watch it if you want. But it makes more sense to be on the Legacy Collection 1 because it's Sigma's origin. And so put it with the first 4 games so you get the full story right off the bat. Trailers are all 8 games, and other than for X7 and 8, there's no English trailers. I don't know if there were I don't remember if there were American commercials or not, so I'm a little disappointed to see that there aren't any for the first 6, but that could just be there wasn't any, so I'll admit to that one. And then you have Challenge Volume 1. This really bothers me because I looked at both of the challenge modes in both the Collection 1 and 2, and they are exactly the same, except they changed one to say Volume 2. But the fights are the same, the weapon choices are the same. I saw no difference. So I was really disappointed to see that I was really disappointed to see that they kind of half-arsed that. Like, I think it would have been cool if they had taken. We're just gonna we'll do easy just for the sake of demonstration. But you get into here and this is, you know, you get to pick. You can pick up the 3 weapons to go into, and it tells you who you're gonna fight. And you can fight up to 2 bosses, which I love the concept of this. This is a really cool, neat mode. I think this is somewhat better than the challenges of the first Mega Man collections, the original Mega Man collections. I like that there's this mashup. I wish they had done this with the original Mega Man. So you can fight up to, you know, a couple of bosses at the same time, and you better choose your weapons carefully. That is really cool. I'm not going to argue that. And they keep their sprites too. They don't, like, even see, you can see they're from X1 and this is X4. And what's cool is that I've never played X4, so I don't know if it's weak again, so we're just gonna go in there and try that. But what's cool is they keep their all original sprites. See, as you can see, there's no changing or fudging to make them mesh. But what's disappointing is that, like I said, this is between both. I would have liked to seen the bigger focus stay on the first collection with the bosses strictly from the first 4 games, and I would have liked to have seen the collection on the second collection focus on the bosses from that. It's kind of hard to talk and do this at the same time. But it's just, I was really disappointed to see that, and I really think they could have done better, and they don't. It's a neat concept, though, as you can see by play, and I really like it. I don't know how they determine which X that you are, like, from which game. And it's definitely a challenge, trying to understand, like, be careful of each one's patterns. Like, and being that I don't even know all of their patterns, so the fact that I'm, like, messing up completely. So, I don't know, this is really cool to me. I'm really happy they did it. I just really wish that they had included, like, I really wish I kept things focused in each collection, so you had a reason to buy, that you really got a full, like, appreciation of both packages, if that makes sense. Like I said, all the bosses from 5 through 8 should have stayed on Legacy 2. All the bosses 1 through 4 I feel like should have stayed on on the first Legacy collection, and it would have been different. It would have been the same concept, same same game mode, but it would have been a different experience each time. You would have felt like you're getting something different, and it's not a rehash. And so to me, this is almost a little. It's a little weak. It was a little lazy on their part. But and the story mode. It's funny that it says story, and all it says is that you defeated a lot. They're back somehow. Do it again. Like, that seemed really lazy. Like, why even say there's a story mode? Just go into the challenge. But overall, I do think this is really, really cool. I do like that there's a soundtrack. The art gallery is cool because it's not strictly just the clip art you've seen a billion times. Like, I mean, that is, you know, you've seen these all before in the game manuals, especially. Nothing new. But I like that there are, you actually have the drawing versions where they're actually inked or actually colored. See, here's the clip art version, and then here's one that looks, I guess that's clip art, but it definitely looks a little more like color pencil-ish, like that does too. And I think that's really cool, airbrush. You know, obviously that is. So I really like that there's plenty here to choose from between all 4 games. And when you click on them, if they're, you know, their first one of each, you get little stories and history about each of the characters, which is really cool because there's things that you may not know. I think the games play beautiful. They all look exactly as they should, as you saw in the challenge mode. We'll go here into the first one so you can see, based on the settings I chose, how it's going to look. Now, for those who remember, Mega Man X is also on the Super Nintendo Mini upscaled. So this will give you a nice comparison if this holds up and matches that, because I think the Super Nintendo version did really beautiful. And yep. So I think this is really cool. I think they did a great job. It's beautiful. Overall, I strongly, if you're an X fan or a Mega Man fan, obviously I strongly can't say it enough, recommend these collections. For those who remember, there was a X collection on the GameCube and PlayStation 2 and Xbox as well. I feel like, unlike with the Mega Man Legacy 1 and 2, where the GameCube or the older collection was done way better, this, I feel like, is very worthy of what it is. I feel this is just as good, if arguably better than the original collection. So this is definitely worth the time to invest in. You saw it looked really good there. Hope this review you found to be helpful. I know it wasn't flashy, but I didn't want it to be. I really want you to focus on what I'm trying to tell you about the game. Get an idea what you're going into. And the biggest thing is that a lot of people look forward to was the challenge mode and unlockables. Let's be honest. I think the unlockables or the museum was really good overall. It's much better when you take into consideration the first collection. Like if you're going in and you're like, oh man, look at all this stuff. And then it feels a little disappointing when you get into the second one because some of it's duplication. And that's disappointing. Again, challenge mode seemed disappointing. Even though for some reason they call it Volume 2, it's the exact same thing from what I've seen. Maybe as I play, I will find there's a difference and I will do an update video to say, hey, hold up, there was a difference here. It just started off the same. So I'm willing to, admit when I'm wrong. But these collections are great. They look great. I found the controls to be very, very good and responsive. Mega Man X didn't slide everywhere where I felt like he was a little... in the original collections, Mega Man did slide a lot, and it made worrying about your motions, your precise timing, a little more stressful. So, but these are really good. I definitely recommend these. Unfortunately, when it comes to the Switch version, that you only get a physical copy of the one. You have to download Legacy Collection 2, and that's really a shame that Capcom keeps doing that to Switch owners. I think that's definitely a downside, should be noted. But when it comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox, I personally got digital versions of both because I game share with Little CD, so it works out in my favor on that part. I don't mind that. But for those looking for physical copies, you can do that. You can sell them. You can find them and buy them separate. So, and also want to say, actually, going back to achievements or trophies, a trophy list or / achievement list is so much better in the X collections than they were in the original Mega Man Legacies. Those were so boring. It was just complete 1, complete 2, complete 3, complete all these challenges. Now get all bronze, get all gold, get all silver. And it was hard, it was boring, it was frustrating, because unless you're the hardcore Mega Man enthusiast, like player, speedrunner, precision player, you weren't going to get them all, or even get close. Here, there's a very cool variety, and they're not all related to difficult. Okay, defeat any of the 8 Maverick bosses in X. There's some easy ones. Cut off Flame out of this trunk in Mega Man X. I like that it's challenging you to do certain things within the actual games, and it's not complete just all these challenge modes. Knock off the Armored Armadillo's armor, and it's just basically, if you know which weapon to use, you're going to do these. Obtain all heart tanks and max out X's energy gauge in X. A lot of these seem to be based on X. And, So, let's face it, that's the game people played the most, have the most fond memories of. But other ones are really good too. I loved X2. Here's one for cleaning them all. Complete X3 cannot be earned in 100. There you go. So that is easy mode. Obtain all 4 armor parts in X3. Obtain the hyper chip. So there's things for doing different paths, different collections. Use skill shot and grab an item in Mega Man X2. Complete an opening stage of Main X2 with a full energy gauge. X challenge stage is okay. There is one, and there's nothing wrong with the challenge mode ones. I like a healthy mix. Complete Zero story in X4. Now I know. So hold on. So just to show you. Oh, those are 100 menus. 52. So as you can see, they are. Oh, wait a minute. So maybe some of these, maybe some of the ones that they have secret on here, so they all aren't the ones they have secret in the game. Ooh, because I didn't see that one. Is that Renaissance Complete? View 20 images across all 4 titles, then change the wallpaper to secret image. I think that type of stuff is cool when they do things like that. So it's all some goofy, silly stuff. Yep, see, that's the first one, so... That's interesting that some of the secret achievements on the Xbox list, again, we'll show that. See how Xbox does this as not to spoil stories so far. When you're playing, before you play the game, they don't want certain things spoiled, so that's why usually there are secret achievements. Or it's just for sneaky things you got to figure out for yourself. It's interesting that in-game, though, the secret ones are revealed if they're in the same order. So that's pretty cool. And that's pretty sneaky of them, so you can mix and match and figure what they all are without having to go to a website, really. And see, yeah. But there are some cool things. So, I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch. I know it's really talkative, and it wasn't real flashy with gameplay and everything else. But I really felt like you should just see the menu, see what they are, because everybody's seen the games. Let's be honest. I showed you. That's all there is to it. You guys know the games. If you didn't, probably you aren't going to buy this. Although I hope for newer generations who are just finding Mega Man X, you really do go out and buy at least the first collection. Give X1 a try. It is one of the greatest platformers, one of the most funnest platformers I've ever played. Period. Regardless if it's Mega Man, regardless what era it's from, it's just so good. I'm Card Dreamer, the D-Class villain. This has been a review of the Mega Man X Legacy Collections 1 and 2. I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it beneficial. Knowledge is power, and that's why my plans are only in the conceptual stage, but they will come to fruition. And please like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below what you thought of both X Collections 1 and 2. What's your favorite aspects of them? Were you disappointed in anything? Were you 100% satisfied between the two? Did you only buy one? Did you buy only 2? As in Collection 2. What's your favorite X title? Leave all these comments down below. Till next time, stay evil, my friends.